Wherefore Series 2, Episode 20. Who let Amagin out? Whitminster demands. She stares pointedly at each of the other 6 wizards in turn. The wizard William sighs heavily and shakes his head. He can't abide Amagin in a way that makes him unlikely to go anywhere Amagin is if he can possibly avoid it. The wizard Wambleforth looks confused and says, "Is this about the goblin market?" Whitminster rolls her eyes. "No, it is not." "That's a pity," says Wigston. "I think we could all use a goblin market, and now the shops are open again, it would cheer things up immensely if we could have some proper goblins in town for a change." "You'd let him out just for the fun of it," Whitminster says to Wigston. "Yes, but I didn't," Wigston replies. "Where was he before he was let out?" the quiet wizard asks. It is a gamble, but as intended it directs attention back to Whitminster's original question. "Yes, how did you conclude either that he's out or that letting him out was a thing that could happen?" Winklepicker asks. "What's the evidence? What exactly are we talking about here?" "Well, it's self-evident. You only have to look at the beacon to see his influence over it all." There are mutters of agreement over this. They have all looked at the beacon, previously an art supply store, now something else entirely, and wondered. In its current configuration, the beacon is a centre for conspiracy theories expressed on badly handwritten posters, and the kinds of small acts of rebellion you can do while lounging about on sofas and being a bit sanctimonious. In fairness, some good and well-meaning folk have also been drawn in, but on the whole it looks like exactly the sort of thing Amagin would find it amusing to do. "It is very much his style," says the wizard William. "He still has plenty of followers," Winklepicker says with a shrug. "His influence is not necessarily evidence of his presence." "It's him," says Whitminster. "I want to know what he's doing there, how he got there, and why we've not seen him for a while. Tim, has he been back to the house at all?" "Not as far as I can tell," says Tim. He is a pretty good liar, but not quite good enough to avoid arousing suspicion. "Tim's very young, very new to this. There's no shame in not knowing what's going on. Amagin is wily and experienced," the quiet wizard suggests. Tim has the good sense to remain quiet and awkward, and by this means his attempted lie is better hidden. Winklepicker gives the quiet wizard a funny look, but doesn't say anything. "I could go into the beacon and have a look round," the quiet wizard suggests. Winklepicker is too quick to offer to go instead, and then they all want to go, only clearly they cannot all go at the same time because of the social distancing. None of them wants any of the others to go in there unsupervised, and this starts them arguing, and after a short while everyone is too busy being cross to even think about why Whitminster called this meeting in the first place. The quiet wizard eases back into his chair and listens to the other 6. They won't notice that he's not joining in. Even if they did realise, there would be nothing unusual in it. At least the sofas in the goods shed are comfy, and as the building is supposed to be closed today, it is a good place for a group of wizards to indulge in a quarrel. While the others are busy, the quiet wizard takes a look at the space they are in. It is a long-disputed territory. Whitminster wants it as a commercial venue. Winklepicker sees it as an arts venue. Amagin wanted to lounge around on the sofas in his usual role as Lord of Misrule. Someone has been doing magic in here, and it isn't any of them. It seems to be in the walls somehow. In the wiring, even. It is very faint. He'll have to come back on his own and give it more careful attention. He glances around at the other wizards, who are now gleefully trading insults. This has gone well. Tim is showing every sign of buying Sabrina's story, that the freaky guy who appeared in the mirror was just one weird thing too many. She can't take being a wizard's girlfriend. They have split up, and she no longer visits the house. Amagin had been putting her under increasing pressure to get him out of the mirror. The next move involved the quiet wizard having a coffee with Winklepicker, and during their conversation seeding the idea that she might not have gone through Amagin's things carefully enough. Not to look for him, but to look for traps and treasures. It doesn't take much to get her thinking in the right direction, and by this means she is bound to find the mirror for herself, even if Tim doesn't mention it. He guesses that Winklepicker and Tim have probably talked about the mirror, although how honest either of them has been is open to speculation. With Winklepicker dealt with, the next step takes the most figuring out and setting up. It requires numerous walks in likely Tim-spotting locations to manage a chance encounter. But on finding Tim, getting him to talk about his various woes proves easy. A creepy figure in a mirror, the quiet wizard says with surprise when Tim finally gives him something to work with. I suppose it's Amagin trying to get back into the house, Tim says. It seems likely, the quiet wizard concedes. It's not what you want. Well, no, says Tim. He is more than a little alarmed by the idea of Amagin and its shows. Maybe I should break the mirror, Tim says. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. There's no knowing what might happen. Far too dangerous. If it were me, I would get that mirror out of the house and put it somewhere it can do no harm. You don't want him talking to innocent passers-by. A shrewd look settles on Tim's face. Where would you put it? He asks. Somewhere wizards would be unlikely to go. Somewhere that attracts the kind of people who will believe anything, but who themselves will not be believed. My Nan's like that, Tim says, but I wouldn't leave it with her. He appears to be thinking. There's a place in town that my father calls the Nut House. The quiet wizard pretends to think about this. Oh, those people with the peculiar 5G signs in the windows? Them, Tim grins. That would be perfect. No one who isn't already into that will listen to anything they have to say about a man in a mirror. I'll donate him to them. He already thinks this is his idea. Looking around the room, the quiet wizard is now confident that Winklepicker knows all about Amagin being in the mirror, and has been party to said mirror going to the beacon. It seems that Winklepicker would prefer the other wizards not to know about this. Tim seems pleased with himself, but is less cocky than he used to be. He is learning. It is Whitminster whose behaviour has proved the most interesting. The observation that Amagin has been let out is telling. It seems likely that Whitminster is the one who trapped him in the first place. The use of a shop always made her seem like a plausible candidate, it being very much her home turf. Further, the quiet wizard has done some poking about and now knows that the Goblin Market pop-up shop was indeed in the same location as the much-missed time-travelling charity shop, and before that it was a sweet shop with some slightly sinister folklore attached to it. It would be a bold move to use your personal power base to trap another wizard, but by the looks of it, this is what Whitminster has done. The quiet wizard will say nothing, for now. Amagin is out of the way for the time being, and Sabrina's magical secrets are safe for at least a little while, and that was his main objective all along.